All right, so I think most of you know me from over the years, so I'm not exactly the most formal guy out there. So, but anyway, this is a pretty important moment for our team. We've been slowly but surely rising through the ranks for a number of years now, and slowly and methodically and very conscientiously looking for a partner that we felt was appropriate for what our team is and the innovation that we try to put into everything. And so, we're really happy today to be saying that we have a new first-line title sponsor for the Tour de France and for the next 2 years in Garmin. This is David Miller modeling our new 2008 team kit.
It's kind of already it was strange inside Campanile yesterday looking at the whole team now. I think it's been a very rapid development for us, and for what Jonathan and Doug have done in the last couple of years, it's incredible to now kind of look outside the hotel and see this fleet of Garmin vehicles and to look as professional as we do. And I think this new jersey and the new colours and this our new sponsor Garmin is very representative of how far we've travelled and where we are now. I mean, we've become a very prominent team in world cycling, and I think we carry an important message, and I hope at this Tour de France that we can kind of be at the front and be protagonists in this whole race. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a new start for us, but I think it's another step up on the ladder of our success. Winning stages is fairly realistic for us. GC, we have Christian who could do pretty well, I think. I mean, I don't think he's ever gone so well in his life. But I think our biggest aim is to be, like I said, protagonists in the race, and to be at the front during the whole 3 weeks in however way we can. I mean, we want to race with panache and be part of the race, and for me that's the biggest thing. I don't think the work that we've done in the last couple of months could have been any better. There's 4 of us who straight off the Giro went up to altitude for 3 weeks, and we're basically on an 8-week training camp with the week before the Giro as well, and I think that was Jonathan's kind of key plan from November last year to do that, and I think it was a risk. We didn't know if we kind of handle it mentally as well as physically, but I think we've come out of it incredibly strong and better than we've ever been. So that's me, Ryder, Danny and Christian. So I mean, I think in all honesty we're starting the Tour de France in the perfect position. We're extremely happy with how we've worked and the form that we have. So now we want to enjoy it and have fun and be part of this. I mean, this has been a huge goal for us and a raison d'être. And I think now we want to, this is just the beginning. This isn't just kind of, we're here and that's good enough. Now we want to actually kind of show off our new kit. The bottom line is Fabian Cancellara is just on a whole different level. He's at the zenith of his career and he's an amazing time trialist. No, I mean, I'm back, I feel I'm back to 100% now, which I haven't been in a while. And I think I'm not going to be that far off Fabian. And but then I'd like to. I mean, I want to be in front of the GC contenders in that first time trial. That's my objective. And then we'll see in the first mountain stages. So no, I think I'm quietly confident that I'm kind of the best form I've been in years.
I would say my sense, my gut, in a very strong way, is that there's a very positive cultural shift in cycling, and I'm really proud that we were a catalyst and an instigator of that going on. But I'm also really proud of the fact that the sport as a whole has kind of felt that, just change in the wind and change in the spirit. And what exactly happens, I don't know, but I can say that I am extremely hopeful that that this is going to be a fun Tour de France. That you guys in the press corps are going to get to write stories about tactics, strategy, and equipment, and technology, and how we're going to have a leg up on everyone because of technology, and that the story isn't going to turn into a negative quagmire. So I'm really, really hopeful of that, and I my gut tells me that's the direction it's going to go. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat like you are.
Can you talk a little bit about the challenges of bringing, I think, 5 riders who have never raced the Tour de France before?
I'd actually forgotten about that until I was thinking about it yesterday on the bus ride from Cholet. I hadn't even really crossed my mind that they were neophytes in the race, and even this morning I was kind of giving some shit to Martijn, going, "You're nervous, you're nervous, you're nervous," and he wasn't. It's like, he just seems to just take it in his stride, and I think that's the case with all these guys. I mean, I think Danny and Ryder spent the last 2 months with me and Christian living in each other's pockets, and they seem to be just taking it in their stride. And Trent's just a consummate little professional. He's 23 years old. You'd think he was 29. So I mean, we've got a real good group of guys, and I'm expecting a lot of them. I think they're going to have a great race, and I think they're going to have a few great Tour de France in front of them. It'll be good to see.
Christian?
John, can you be more specific about the technology? I mean, GPS generally is something that everyone can have. What sort of advantages are you expecting that you're getting from Garmin?
Well, I mean, right off the bat, right now we're the only team that on the bikes we can measure on the same unit power, speed, temperature, elevation gain, upcoming terrain changes, upcoming road changes, cadence, all that. It's about that big. And the rider can look down, and I mean, the primary advantage, and I mean, I don't even know if I want to talk about this, because the advantage goes away once you talk about it, right? Because everyone figures it out. But cycling teams are slow to adapt. Anyway, basically, as it's gone in races, like for instance Paris-Roubaix this year, Johnny Welts and I were sitting in the front seat of the car. He drove the car, and all I did that entire race as a director was read the map and convey the information of the map changes to the riders. Left turn 500 meters from now, we go from a big road onto a small road. Right turn, wind direction will be changing in another kilometer. We go from paved road to a cobbled road. Right, okay? Well, for those of you who have ever been in a race car, you realize how crappy the radio technology is. Sometimes the radio works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes the rider hears it. You've got Martijn, who English is his third language. David, who likes to claim that English is his first language. Anyway, and there's a lot of error. Basically, radio communication is fraught with error. But when you've got that information, which is the most critical part of, I mean, I know that the perception is that we're sitting back there in the cars with the little joysticks on the riders and saying, okay, now you attack, now you go back. It's really not the case. The riders are more in control of the tactics of the race than the directors are, but the riders need correct information in order to make the correct tactical decisions. You can't make a good tactical decision a mile behind the race in a car. You can't even see what's going on. So with the Garmin 705s, basically we're giving them all the elevation, the wind direction information is there because they can stick their thumb up and go, okay, well, it's coming from that way, and we're going that way, and when we change that way, it's going to be a crosswind, and when we hit the crosswind, the race is going to go to pieces. That information is all right in front of them, and they can make the decisions based on that as opposed to based on a multi-step communication drill, which is just not effective. And it seems like a small thing, but you would be amazed at what big difference little things make in bike racing.
I got quite a simple addition to that as well. I was able to just ride for an hour not thinking about landmarks or road signs this morning and just get an hour out and hit go home, and it just takes me home. So it's like, for us that's good when you're just going to random places, and before you'd go out for a 2-hour ride and there was a bit of a, you had to actually have be switched on the whole time, but now you can just map it out and it just get to a furthest point and just hit go home and it takes you home. So I think that's actually probably one of the most useful things for cyclists.
No, because I think the radio is actually more distracting. So if we can cut down on radio chatter, and more of that information is conveyed directly to the riders just because they have it in front of them, then actually I think they can focus on the race more as opposed to, you know, having my obnoxious voice in their ear all the time. I just want to make one last little closing statement. I think it's really important with the sponsorship that everyone knows that this was, and I'm actually particularly proud of this little factoid, that this decision by Garmin was made from a business standpoint, meaning, you know, the CEO of their company is not a bike racer, he's never been to a bike race. According to John, he probably will never go to a bike race. But that these guys really, you know, believed in what our sport and the image that our sport gives to the public. And I think that's a really important fact, considering where we are, you know, here now in cycling, that there's, you know, a company out there that believes in the sport and believes the image that this sport, you know, portrays to their millions of customers worldwide, and that the decision was made on that and that alone. So just a little something to think on.
I like it actually. Oh, right. Okay.